Hello everybody and welcome to Alexander the Dev. In this part of our programming basics tutorial, we'll cover the following key topics. Introduction to Java and setting up our development environment with IntelliJ IDEA and JDK. Understanding basic Java syntax and program structure. Working with variables, data types, and operators for arithmetic, assignment, comparison, and logical operations. Learning about conditional statements with if, else, and switch. And in the end, we will put everything together by creating a small app using everything we have learned so far. But you might be asking, why Java? Java is the most popular programming language and was created in 1995. It runs on over 3 billion devices and you can use it to build any applications, from desktop softwares to mobile apps, web applications to enterprise systems. Whatever you want, you can build it with Java. Java's versatility makes it a go-to choice for developers worldwide. Its write once, run everywhere philosophy ensures that Java programs can run on any platform with a Java virtual machine. So, first thing first, let's set up our development environment. The first thing that you will need to do is to visit jetbrains.com/idea/download. The first thing that you're going to see is this IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate version. At this point, you don't need that version. It's a paid one, but it's not necessary at all to follow these tutorials. You can use the free version, which is the free community edition version, to build pretty much everything. So if you are on a Mac, you will see the options to download the DMG file for Apple Silicon. But if you are using an IntelliJ chip, you can switch to the IntelliJ one. If you are on a Windows machine, you are probably already focused on the Windows tab, where you can download the installation file and you can just follow the wizard. I'm going to switch back to the Mac OS and I will download the app like this and just wait for the download to complete. When it is done, you can just click the downloaded file. You will see a similar view to this one here and just grab the IntelliJ and pull it to the application folder. Wait for a few seconds and that should be it. Similarly, if you are on a Windows machine, you are going to follow the wizard, just use the default values and click next until it's done. The first time that you are going to open IntelliJ, you are going to view a similar tab here. You can choose to create a new project, open an existing one, and get one from VCS. But for now, let's create a new one. On the next window, you have to choose a name for your project. Let's call it Java Basics. You can choose the build system to be IntelliJ, Maven or Gradle. Let's go for Gradle right now. In case that you don't have any option here, you can open the drop down and click on the download JDK. On the JDK option, you probably have no version selected, so you can open this drop down menu. You can click on the download JDK version and we can go with the latest one, which is version 22. The vendor Oracle OpenJDK, it's totally fine. And you can click select. On Gradle DSL, let's keep everything as it is and click create. Cool, here's our application. It's already set up. You will notice a warning here, but it's going to go out as soon as the importing and build is done. Let's wait a second for this one. And everything looks done right now, right? This is a basic setup. It comes when you start a new Java application. You don't need to worry about anything that's on the UI right now. But you need to know that everything here will make sense eventually. If you want to run the app, you can click on this play button next to the main name, and you will see that everything is going to run. And in the console, you will notice this hello and welcome. Don't worry, we're going to go one by one and I will explain you everything. It's too early for you to understand what's going on right now. And we're ready to start our journey. Before moving forward, if you want to download JDK from Oracle and not from inside IntelliJ, you can go to the Oracle website. You can visit oracle.com, Java Technologies Downloads. Here you will find multiple versions, everything that's available right now, Java JDK 22. You can select your operation system like Linux, macOS, Windows, and we're ready to start our journey. So let's learn about the basics. First of all, when you open IntelliJ, you will see a couple of weird things here, but maybe you can find out that the font is kind of small, so I will go to increase the size of that for the purpose of this tutorial. So by clicking on IntelliJ IDEA and settings, you can search for font size. Click on the font, and here you will see the size options. I'm going to increase to 25 so everybody can read what we are typing. And here it is. I guess it's much better right now, right? So what we have here, we can see that we have something like it's called public, class, main, and a few other keywords, right? The most important thing for you to know right now is this class. Every line of code that runs in Java must be inside a class. A class name, in our case, is main, should always start with an uppercase first letter. In our example, we have named that as main, but you can do whatever you want. I think to keep in mind is that Java is case sensitive, so this class, for example, this class name is different from this class name. Also, the main class is different from this main class with lowercase first letter. And you can see that your IDE here is already complaining because the class name should be the same as the file name. So now that I renamed that to main with lowercase, it's complaining because it's not the same with the main Java file. If you right-click here on the file, you can see the refactor one, and you can see the option to rename the file. So if I go back and I rename to main Java, here it is. IDE is not complaining anymore. It's kind of weird because we have the main class and we have the main method. So I will rename this to something that makes more sense right now. Let's call it the class is Java Basics. Instead of renaming the class here, you can go to the file, click on the right click, refactor, and rename. So let's call it Java Basics. And here it is. IDE is not complaining at all, and we can move forward. Next, you can see it says public static void main. This main here is a method. It's a required, and you will see it in every Java program. You can think about it as the entry point for your application. Now, inside the main function or method, you can see that it's empty right now, but let's add something. Let's add a simple function, which is system.out.println and hello world. So this is kind of standard when we start learning programming, right? What line 5 is doing is printing this hello world text in our console. I'm going to run it so you can see what it does. You can run your app by clicking on this run button. And you can see in our console, here it says hello world. Going back to our main method, you will see that it has some curly braces. Whatever is inside the curly braces is going to be executed. So because the main method is going to be executed when our application starts, it means that it's going to execute whatever is inside the curly braces. At this point, we have only line 5, but we can copy this line 5, go back and say like 6, like 7, and we can say hello world 1, hello world 2, hello world 3. The program is being executed vertically. So it means that it's going to execute first line 5, then line 6, and then line 7. Let's run the program to see that in action. You will see in our console it says hello world 1, hello world 2, hello world 3. The system.out.println function, it's a built-in Java class that contains useful members. The one last thing that you should know, and you probably already noted that, is that every statement ends with a semicolon. So whenever you want to execute something like this println function, you should type a semicolon at the end. Now, let's start learning some more interesting stuff, right? Let's talk about variables and data types. So my name is Alex, so hello Alex. It's going to output the text in the screen. Nothing very impressive here, right? But we can output also numbers. So you can say println 20. If you run it, you will see 20. And of course, you can combine text and numbers. So we can see, hello, I'm Alex, and I am 37. You can run this one, and here it's outputted. Hello, I am Alex, and I am 30. The next one that I would like to show you is about comments. You can leave a comment in the code that it's not going to be executed, right? So that's the point of the comments. You can say, okay, the next line is printing my name and my age. You will notice that this line is not going to affect anything on our program and it's not being executed. It's 37. Now, let's see what variables are. We have different types of variables. We have strings, integers, float, char, boolean. Variables are things that you store in memory. I will give you a few examples. Let's start with the simplest version of that, which is the strings. Strings are text in reality, and we go like this. You can say string. You need to define a variable name, and I will call it name. And we are going to set it to be Alex. As you have noticed again, I have to tell what type the variable is. In our case right now, it's a string. The name is the identifier of the variable, which in our case is name. And here is a value. My name is Alex. Let's see another variable type, which is int, numbers, right? Integers, let's say in our case, we need to store the age, which is like 37. So in line 7, we have a variable that we call name. It has the value Alex. And in line 8, we have a variable called age, and it has my age, like 37. The first part of every variable is the type of the variable. If you try to set the wrong type on a variable, ID is going to complain. Let's say that I want to store a string name to be equals to 37. You are going to see that ID has underlined our variable with red color and says required type is string, but you are providing an integer. There are ways to overcome that, but don't do that right now. You don't need to know it. Removing this line here. Before moving further to different type of variables, I will show you how you can use these two variables and what is the usage of that and what they're useful for. Here in our println statement, we have hello, I'm Alex, but we can use our variable instead of hard coding our name. I will say hello, I'm Alex plus hello, I am, and we can say name. Then we can continue to format our message and say and I am plus age. Let's run this program and see what it does. And it's outputting, hello, I'm Alex and I'm 37. If you want to change the age and do that 22, which would be very good, you can run again and say, hello, I'm Alex and I am 22. Cool, right? Now, let's see a bit for other types of variables. Let's start with float number. Floating point numbers are with decimals, such as 19.99. It's usually used on prices and things like that. Here's an example. Float, let's say it's for price and it costs like 19.99. 19.99. You have to write on the end of the value the letter F. And that's because it, Java it's not going to be sure if you are talking about a float or a double. Let's move on. Let's go to the next type, and we have double. We can use that for another price. It doesn't really matter right now. And we can say double is like 110.11, and here it is. IntelliJ is complaining because the variable is never used, right? Also, the naming is not correct. We usually, when we set a variable name, we want to use something that is called camel case. So start with a lowercase a for another, but the next word, which is the word price, should be starting with an uppercase. That makes it more readable. That's all. In our case, now you don't need to do anything for the double. IntelliJ understands that this is a double by default. The next data type that I want to show you is the type char, which is like which means a character, right? Instead of having an entire word like Alex, you can have a variable that is set just to a single character. So let's say my character is equal to A. There is a difference with the string, right? As you can see, the strings, you have to include them inside double quotes, but the characters, you should include them inside single quotes. If you try to do different, let's say I want to change this one to be double quotes and the letter A, IntelliJ is going to complain and you will not be able to build the application. If you change to single quotes, but you add more than one character, like this, again, IntelliJ is going to complain and you will not be able to build the application. Characters, you can use whatever you want, like uppercase, lowercase. The last data type that I would like to show you right now is a Boolean. Boolean has two states. It's true or false. It's something similar to yes or no, but we use it as true or false in programming. Let's give an example. It's weekend, and we can set that to false. As the day of recording this video, it's Monday, so it's not a weekend. For the booleans, you can have only two options. As I said, it's only true or false, so you can do either it's true or it's false. Now that you know the basics of the variables, there's another way to create one, right? You don't need always to set the data type. It's very common in Java, but on the latest version, it's also supported the var keyword. So you can say like var from variable, and you can say my name, and you can set that to Alex. So instead of having to set string var name as we do on line 7, you can just say var my name, it's Alex. And what's happening here is like IntelliJ, your IDE is understanding by itself that, okay, you are setting a text here, so it's a string. If you hover here, you will see that it says string my name Alex. So under the hood, it's still the same thing, right? But it's kind of more readable. And from now on, we are not going to use the first way. We are only going to use the var keyword and setting our variables. The last thing that you should remember is that when you are giving a name to your variable, it's better to give a meaningful name. Technically, you can do whatever you want. You can say var x, y, and set it to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't really matter, but it's not very readable. And for the next person that is going to read your code, it's not going to understand what is the usage and why is this variable doing and why we have it at all. So it's better you use some meaningful names. That's it. Next on, let's talk about operators. Operators. We have different type of operators. We have arithmetic operators, the assignment operator, and comparison operators, logical operators. But let's start with the arithmetic ones. So I'm going to clean up a bit our screen. We don't need all these variables anymore. I'm going to keep the age, but I will switch to the var keyword, right? Cool. So arithmetic operators. Let's see what are the basics arithmetic operators. The simplest one is the plus operator, right? I'm going to leave some comments here so you can follow up. So the plus operator, which is doing some additions, right? Let's see an example. We have a var that is like calculating a total, and we can say this var is equal to 3 plus 3, right? So this is an integer. If you use this var to the output text, I will switch to the total. The total is, and it's going to be total. Public space here, and let's try this out. The total is 6. So the plus symbol is doing an addition. Let's see the subtraction. So we can do minus. Similar to the plus, you can do total 2 is 3 minus 3. Let's see. Let's run the app and will be the total is 0. Cool. Let's move on. Next one. Multiplication. We can say var total 3 is 3 times 3. And as you might already have guessed, if we output this, we are going to get a 9. 3 times 3, it's 9, right? Next one, division. Var total 4, it's 3 divided by 3. And the total 4, if we use it on the output, and if we run this up, we're getting the total is 1, because 3 divided by 3, it's 1. And the last one, which is a bit more complex than the rest that I want to show you for today, is the modulus. So it's the percentage symbol. So let's give it an example. Total 5, it's 10 modulus 3. And if we output that, we are going to get 1. That's because the remainder of 10 divided by 3, it's 1, right? Let's run it. And the total is 1. That's it. Those are the basics operators that you need to know right now. Let's move on with the assignment operator. I'm going to remove these variables here. We're not going to need them anymore. Assignment operator is the one that you have already used. It's when you assign a value to a variable. So let's start with a var, which is car equal. So this equal symbol, it's assigning a value to the car variable, right? This is an assignment operator. And we can say that the car is BMW or whatever you own. Now, except from assigning, there are assignment operators that do more than that. For example, we have the variable age, which is 22 in line 7. Let's say that we want to increase that one, right? So instead of doing like age is equal to age plus 1, so we are increasing the age, and we are going to output that so we can see that. I will run the app. So this is going to say that age is 23, because on line 22, on line 7, we said that the age is 22, but at line 10, we increase that by 1. Now there is the addition assignment operator, which does the same thing, right? It's going to do like age plus equals 1. I'm going to remove line 10. And here we're going to get the same result. So the age is 23. We can do whatever we want here, like plus 3. So what line 10 is doing is adding, doing an addition and setting the variable back, right? So it's doing 22 plus 3 it's setting again to age, and that's the result 25. Similarly, we have the subtraction assignment. And we can do that by saying minus equals 3. And can you guess what it's going to do right now? It's going to subtract 3 from 22, and it's going to give us 19. Here it is. The age is 19. It doesn't really matter. And the age is minus 21, right? And I think that's it for the assignment operators. Let's move on next with the comparison operators. I'm going to remove line 10. So, comparison operators. We have the equal one, which is comparing if the two sides are equals. I will give you an example. So let's say we have age 22. Let's create another one. That is age 2, or your age is 25. My age is 23. Now, the comparison operator equal can compare the two variables. And we can say, we can create a new variable, say have same age. And it's going to do like your age equals my age. We are going to output this variable so we can see what the output is. It's going to say the have same age is false because your age, my age are not equals, right? So the next one is the not equal operator, which is like mark and equal sign. By following the same example, I will get it from here. We don't need to type it again. We can check if this is not equal. I will comment out these lines so we don't have to remove it. And we can say have different age, right? Which your age is different from my age. In this case, it's going to return a true because, yeah, it's not the same. But if we had the same age, so we were both 25, and we run the program, we are going to get the have different age is false because our age is the same, right? So I will switch back to 22. Now, we have the greater and greater equal to operator. Let's move on. So it's greater, and we have also the greater equal one. Let's create a new variable. Let's say, am I older? We can say, my age is greater than your age. Let's output this and see what it's going to tell. It's going to be the am I older is false because my age is 22 and your age is 25, so I'm not older, right? What if we had the same age, 25, and we were comparing the greater or equal case? So now the am I older is going to return true, right? But if I was indeed older, 26, this is going to be again true. Similarly, we have the less and equal to, which is less and less equal to, right? So we can switch this one. We don't need it anymore. You are older. And we can say, in the first case, if you are older, let's see, you're older. Let's run this up and see what we're going to get. You're older. It's false because my age is 26 and your age is 25. If I was 23, then yes, you are older. True, right? But this can be also less or equal to. And if we had like 25 and 25, we're going to get a true. the older, true. That's it with the comparison operators. The last one, the logical operators, which are very simple but kind of very, very important. I will clean up our screen a bit. And let's start again. So, logical operators. And, right? We have the two pipes sign, which is a logical OR. And we have the mark, which is a logical NOT. Don't worry, it will make sense eventually. So let's go on the first case. What this and does is comparing the two sides if they're true, both of them, right? So let's create a few variables. First variable, am I an adult? Yes, we can set that to true. If you remember, this is a Boolean variable. Second variable, are you an adult? True, again. Let's fix this name here, which is kind of better. And we need a third variable. Are we both adults? Now let's use our AND logical operator. Am I an adult? And are you an adult? And let's print out this statement and see what are we going to get. Are we both adults? Let's run the application. Are we both adults? It's true. It's true because we are both adults, right? It's fine. But if I was an adult and you are not an adult, let's say false here, and we run the application. So are we both adults? It's false because you are not an adult. But let's go to the next one, the logical OR operator. I will copy line 10 and let's move to line 14 and I will comment out line 10. So are we both adults, but this time I will not compare with the AND, but with the OR logical operator. Here, are we both adults? Let's get the statement 2. And here it is going to check, am I an adult or are you an adult? So whatever it's true, it's good enough for the condition to be true, right? In our case, I am an adult, but you are not. So, are we both adults? Now it says true. Is any of us an adult? And let's run again. This makes more sense. It's true because I am. If I wasn't, but you were, it's same thing because it's good enough to fulfill the condition, right? The second part is true, so it's going to return a true. Here it is. Is any of us an adult? Yeah, don't worry. At the next chapter, we are going to do a full demo of what we have learned and we will add everything there and explain it line by line so you get a better understanding of what we are doing right now. The last one, the logical NOT. Let's copy these two lines, paste them here, remove this one. We can comment out line 14 and line 15. And the logical NOT. So this is returning the actual value, right? So I am an adult, it's true. And you are an adult, it's true. Very nice. We are going to compare this with an AND operator, right? Or it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to put that inside a parenthesis. Are we both adults? And let's see, are we both adults? If we run that right now, it's going to be a true. Very nice. Now, if we use the logical not operator, right, we can do in here in front of the parentheses, and we are going to get a false. So it's reversing what the actual value is, right? If we want to go to the are you an adult and reverse this one here, use a logical not, it's going to be false again, because it was true and was true the second part also, but we reverted that to a not, which means we reverted the true to false. If it was initially a false one, and we were reverting in line 18, actually I'm going to clean up our view a bit. So we have this are you an adult, it's false. So in theory, this condition should be like true and true without this not operator. And it's going to be true and false, which is false, right? But if we switch and say, okay, let's use a not operator here, it's going to be the first part true. The first part was initially false, but now because we are using the not operator, so it's going to be a true. And if we run that one, it's true and true. And yes, you can see that it's are we both adults? It's a true. Don't worry too much. We will see everything in action in a bit. It's a very good practice if you can follow on with what we are doing right now. Whenever I'm going too fast, just pause, take your time, do it on your own side. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on this video and I will try to answer as fast as I can. And let's move on. So the next important thing that we need to learn about is the conditions and if statements. You will see them in every programming language. Maybe the syntax might be a bit different, but it's like a crucial part of programming. And let's start with the conditions and if statements. The if statement. So what is the if statement? We use it to specify a block of code to be executed if a specified condition is true. We use else to specify a block of code to be executed if the same condition is false. We use else if to specify a new condition to test if the first condition is false. Let's see all those in action, right? We have a variable, let's say number. Which is 20 or 10. The if condition starts with the word if. Open a parenthesis. And inside the parenthesis, we need to set the condition that is going to be validated or checked. So let's see. If number is greater than 11, curly braces after the parenthesis. As I said before, whatever is inside the curly braces is going to be executed. So let's say that if it's 10, we are going to print something in the console. Let's say the number is higher than 11. If you run this program, you will see that nothing is going to be output in the console, right? Now, if we continue this if statement, we can go on with an else and curly braces. So whatever is inside the else block, inside the curly braces from line 9 to 11, is going to be executed if the initial condition in line 7 is not true. So it's not valid. And here I'm going to copy the println method. We say that the number is less than 11. Less, or be more precise, it's less or equal, right? Than 11. Let's run this up again. And yes, now number is less or equal to 11, which makes sense, right? Now, instead of having just an else statement, we could say else if, open again parenthesis, and say maybe it's not greater than 11, but maybe it's let's say number is greater than 5 or 4. And we're gonna say that the number is less than 11, but is greater than 4. Let's run it. And here it is. Number is less than 11, but it's greater than 4, right? Now, we can set a final one statement, which is just else. And this is the default one that's going to be executed if line 7 it's not true, line 9 it's not true, and we're going to execute line 12. So this is the else block. In our case, number is 10. If we switch that to be 2 and run the program again, you are going to see that this is the last block. Similarly, you can go and write as many else if blocks you need, right? It's not very readable, but technically it works. You don't need to worry about that. Now, for cases that we have multiple options, there is something we call switch statement. Let's see that. So we have, I'm going to follow again the number example. The switch statement starts with the word switch. In the parentheses, we're going to set what we are going to validate. So we're going to validate number, right? Curly braces. And now we need to test the cases. Let's say case 1 is 6 columns, and let's print something out. Println, so number is 6. And then break. So the break keyword, it's saying to the program that, okay, we found the case, that's it, don't check any other, right? Let's add a couple of more cases. So case 3, I'm going to copy paste it. So it's like system 3. And let's do one more time. We need to break here again. And one more time. The last one that we can have here is the default. So on the default, you don't need to check any value. And you can say, we didn't find it. And break. So in our case, the number is 2. We don't really have any case that checks against 2, right? So if we run this program, we didn't find it. It's going to output the last line because we didn't find it. But if this number was like 3, it was going to be code here in the case 3. And we should see number is 3. Pretty simple, right? So this is kind of better of using if, else if statements. It's kind of more readable. When the Java reach this break keyword, it breaks out to the switch block, right? So this will stop the execution of more code. For example, in our case right now, the number was 3. What Java does is checking first one, okay, it's 6, no, it's not 6. Is it a 3? Yes, it is 3, executing this line 12, reaching the breakpoint, which means, okay, we don't need to test the number anymore. We found it and we're done. That's the only thing that you should keep in mind. Next, we are going to write a demo application that puts everything together so you can see everything in action, and in reality will be our first small program with the basics that we have learned so far. So now let's put everything together. We are going to remove this Java Basics file. And we're going to add a new one. So let's create a new class, right click, new class. We'll name this weather advisor. So this class needs a main method, which should be public static void main string args. you just follow what I'm typing. You don't need to really understand all the keywords right now. So this weather advisor is going to tell us how is the weather and what, let's say, day of the week it is, right? Let's start with the temperature. Let's say that we have a var temperature, which is 28 degrees. We need the second variable to know if it's raining or not. It's raining. It's equals to false. Let's say that it's a good day. It's not raining. Let's start by printing out these two variables. So system out print ln. I say the temperature is plus temperature. Now it's time to show you a small trick. If you want to have a shortcut to use this system out println every time, you can type SOUT and press tab. And here you can add your text. It's raining. Cool. Let's run this one. You can go here and click on the play button, or on the top. It's the same thing. The temperature is 28. Is it raining? False. So it's not raining, right? Let's move on. Let's use an if statement to check a condition. So we can say if temperature is more than 30, we need to do curly braces. So if it's more than 30, we are going to execute the code that is between the two curly braces. We are going to print something out. Let's say, okay, this is a very... And inside we can have a nested if statement, right? It doesn't really matter. We can have as many as you need. So we can say, okay, the temperature is over 30, which is okay. But is it raining? So you can have the variable inside the if condition check, right? Inside the parentheses. What the if is going to check if it's true or false. You don't need to compare it to something else. Here it's, because it's already a Boolean, it has only two options to be set. Either it's false or it's true, as we said. And we say, is it raining? In case of a rain, we can say, okay, if it's raining, it's also raining. Expect high humidity. But if it's not raining, so else, because it's a Boolean, it can have only two options, if either it's true or false. So if it's false, so it's not raining, we're going to print something else in the output. We'll say, remember to drink a lot of water. Cool. We check the temperature. If it's high, now let's do another check, right? We can see else if the temperature is more than 20, we can say curly braces again. And inside curly braces, we can say, okay, the weather is fine. And again, we need to check if it's raining or not, right? So if it's raining, again, curly braces, and we can say, let's say, take an umbrella. If you are going outside. Otherwise, else, no parentheses there, because it's either true or false. We can say, okay, if it's not raining, perfect day. And let's have one last condition. So we have checked the temperature if it's over 30 in line 11, if it's over 20 in line 18, but let's have an else. So for anything else than that. We can say, okay, it's kind of cool today. It's cool today. And again, we need to check if it's raining or not. We can say if it's raining. Okay. Maybe here we should say, okay, it's better to stay home. Otherwise, maybe we can say else Kali braces, again, the same thing. And if it's not raining, you can say, okay, consider wearing a jacket. Cool. That's it so far, right? We have implemented our else, if condition checks. Let's see how it runs. Okay, cool. Let's go that a bit. And the temperature is 28. Is it raining? False. So the weather is fine. It's a perfect day, right? If it was like 5 degrees and we run the application again, temperature is 5, it's raining, false, it's cool today, consider wearing a jacket. But if it's like 22 and it is raining, the weather is fine, take an umbrella if you are going outside because, okay, you need one. So what the program does right now, up to here, it goes on line 11, it says, okay, is it the temperature over 30? No, it's 22, right? So we'll skip everything here. We'll go on line 18. Is temperature over 20? In our case right now, it is. So it's going inside and it's going to execute whatever is between curly braces of this block, right? And it's going to say, okay, let's print this out. The weather is fine. Then it's going to do another check. It's raining. In our case, it is raining, right? So it's going to execute whatever is inside this block. So from line 20 to line 22. System.println, take an umbrella if you are going outside. And that's what we see here. So that's it for now. Let's go and do some practice for our switch statement, which is, let's do a more simple example right now, right? We have a var, we can say day of a week, and let's set this to Monday. Let's do a switch case to find out what is a day, right? Switch case starts with the keyword switch. We are going to check the day of week, and then we need curly braces. Our first case is to check if it is a Monday, right? So if it's a Monday, let's output something, have a great week. So it's the first day of the week for most of us. And don't forget the keyword break. So the program doesn't execute further, right? No. The next case, let's check if it is the last day of the week. Now, if you live in a country that the week starts on different days, you can play around and check for different cases, right? So let's go. It's Friday. Cool. Let's print something out. SOUT tab. Now we can have also the default case as I showed you before. And the default, okay, let's print something out. So it's going to check. The program is going to check if it is a Monday, if it's a Friday, otherwise it's going to use the default one. Let's go and see what it's going to do right now. Cool. This is from the first part, and here is the last one. So have a great week. So I'm going to fix this one here and have a great, one more time, week. So it's correct right now. Let's run it again. Have a great week because it's the first day of the week, right? If it was, let's say, Tuesday, cool. Let's run it again. It's going to enjoy your Tuesday. And if it was Friday, let's say, and again, the weekend is almost there. So what the program does is like coming line 37, starting the switch case. checking, right? So it's going to do, okay, is this day of the week Monday? It's equal to Monday. No, it's not. It's equal to Friday. Yes, it is. So it's going to execute line 42. It's going to execute line 43, which line 43 says to the program, stop checking. We found what we need. Don't proceed further, right? And it's going out of the execution. If it's something else, like Tuesday, it's going to check. It's Monday, not. It's Friday, not. So it's going to the default one and say, okay, it doesn't matter what the value is. I'm going to execute line 45. And it's going to be like, enjoy your whatever day it is. In our case, it's a Tuesday. Let's try it again. So in this example, we demonstrate the use of variables, the data types that we learned, arithmetic operators, and the other one. Keep doing that on your own. Do some practice. Don't be afraid. Worst case scenario, you break something. If you break something, I will show you an example right now. For example, I'm setting the wrong type of variable here. You can see the ID, it's complaining, but if you run the run button, you are going to get an error in the IDE. We don't need to dive too much into the errors right now, but I just want to point out that you don't need to be afraid of anything. Do some practice, try to understand what it is. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in this video and I will try to reach out as soon as possible. That's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you get notified when I publish new ones. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon. Bye.